MSU's Office of K-12 Outreach, bringing innovation and best practices to educators across Michigan, the U.S., and the world.
So let's imagine now we've got, in that second phase, activating and engaging, we've got some rich observations. Then we move to the first part of the third phase, which has kind of an A and a B. The A part is developing theories of causation. So given these data, given these significant observations, so there is some discussion there. We kind of had been in dialogue, now there's some discussion. We have to hone where we want to put our energy. The third bit then is, so what's our theory? What explains either these successes, because people forget you can learn from successes, or these gaps? And then generating multiple theories, and then naming what data do we need to look at before we fall in love with our theory. Sometimes it's real simple. We need to just go do another problem set with the kids and look over their shoulders, interview kids, talk to kids, get some anecdotals, end the unit. So we can just, it's not like we have to go do a whole other big assessment schema. You know what, we need to do another writing prompt to see if this pattern holds across the prompts to isolate the variables. Because it's when we, what that also lines up with is the research on skilled problem solving, which says that skilled problem solvers spend the bulk of their energy clarifying the problem. Because once the problem's clear, then the solutions just fall right out. More of, less of, different. Sometimes that means we have to isolate demographically. We've got a pattern here for this population, or boys are getting it, girls aren't getting it. We've got some ELL kids who are not getting it, or ELL kids from this culture, whatever the subtext digs out. And again, that's all our advocacy is, let's look at what's in the archives already to look for pattern, look for detail there. Then we've got solutions, then we try, and then that sets up a new set of data which lets us fire the cycle all over again. So we have a cycle, but it's not, it's Thursday, third week of school, we've done this little event. We're really trying to build a collaborative learning model that has a way of talking inside it. And our experience is that healthy teams have cycles of learning, just like there's cycles of learning in the classroom. So this is a way of talking about practice. If we look at John Hattie's work on visible learning, there's a couple of pieces in all those meta-analyses he did. One is the power of feedback, and the other is the power of formative assessment. Nothing trumps those in terms of any instructional thing. Well, how do we not translate that into teaching practice? Formative assessment, which is analogous to looking at any kind of data, says, how are we doing? So it's the idea of becoming data-centered. And when we say data, it doesn't have to be high-level stuff. We're talking kid work is data. Putting a lab report. We all did this lab. We're 3 chem teachers. Let's put the lab results on the table and take a look. Or, well, let's sample them, take a look. We did a writing prompt with grade 7. Let's take a look. What do we think, so that our instruction can be much more targeted? So if we think data it's twice a year, then what's the point? It really is just an exercise, not a process that will improve learning.